Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Wishing you guys a very good evening. We're just waiting for a couple of more learners to join in and we'll get started. But thank you so much for giving us your time on Wednesday evening. As the world moves more and more into wielding GPT towards the mundane and specialist intensive tasks, we're going to be questioning the role of Metaverse, the role of blockchain, the role of GPT in how we manage our day-to-day operations and tasks that need an extreme or a very precise amount of skill. We're going to put in question that how a degree is going to be designed in a world which is essentially dominated by GPT, in a world that's dominated by Metaverse, in a world where you have access to knowledge. What role will a degree play? And essentially, I think one of the questions that an Indian student always have is, how is engineering and science very different? How do I differentiate between an AI engineering degree and a data engineering degree versus a data science or an MS in AI? So we're going to be talking about all of that. We're going to be talking about what are some of the latest trends in technology? What are some of these trends that you can actually formally educate yourself with? And whether it makes sense to do micro creds or micro credentials or stackables, or whether it makes sense to do a proper degree, and what are some of the progressions that unlock or unfold when you study. So we've got a friend school with us. We've got Laurent, who's joining us all the way from Paris, from a school called Aivancity School of Technology, Business and Society. I will introduce Laurent in a little bit, but I'm just going to wait for all of the learners to join in and we'll get started. Meanwhile, because you know the context, we're talking about extensively about the graduate degrees that you've got in AI and data engineering and machine learning, and in machine learning ops, DevOps, all of that. And so one is, we want to know your opinion, know what mindset have you come to this webinar with? What are you seeking out of it? Two, would love to take questions based on employability or career centricity, that where do we go from an AI engineering course or a data engineering course? Three, I think I'd love to know what industries do you represent and how is AI or data science or machine learning going to revolutionize those industries? And fourth, because you know now that we've got a friend school, we'd also throw a lot of light on what does it mean to study engineering or data science or AI bound or intensive subjects in France. What is the industry like in France? And what does it mean for a student like yourself to move from India to France? So we've got a lot of things to talk about. Another 1 minute and we will officially start the webinar with Laurent and Amon, both of who represent the Avon City School of Technology, Business and Society. Meanwhile, if you guys got any questions at all, put those down in the Q&A button and we'll get started. I will introduce Laurent formally to you. Laurent has been in the retail and fashion industry in France for the last 25 years. He's traveled across 80 countries, has been diligently at it. And one of the other things is that he's now moved from a typical retail and consumer-driven industry to a more education or learner-driven, learner-intensive setup. So from the retail industry to the university, and is extensively now working for data or machine learning or AI-driven programs at Aivancity. There's so much more to learn from his story, so much more to know. What is the wave that he aspires to ride? What is it that moved him to switch the industry? And what does the future of AI and machine learning have? So Laurent, on behalf of upGrad, I welcome you to the space, and we'd love to know a little bit more about Aivancity.
Thank you very much, Pranit, and thanks to the upGrad team to have invited me for this webinar. It's really a great honor for me to be able to talk to you about what view we have from France and from Aivancity about this big revolution that is happening now and that now everybody sees. As said, I have a very strange journey, professional journey. You will maybe think why someone who's been working in the retail and fashion industry for more than 25 years is talking to us about AI and data in the education system. And this is it. After having a great career, opening more than 200 or 300 stores throughout the world, I said to myself, what's the meaning of it? What's the sense? Where is the world is going? What will be the future of myself and my kids? I have 3 kids. And now in the middle of this era where the world is burning, to continue to travel and to live like we used to live in the past. And I said to myself, no, I mean, I need to find something different and to find what can be my impact on the evolution of this. And I believe in 2 things. The first thing is education. It's a great chance for anybody who can go for studies and to study anything, to upgrade it's himself on one side. And the second thing in which I believe is new technology. And the most powerful new technology that is coming today is artificial intelligence. So that's why, after having talks with Dr. Tawij Tiwi, who has launched this new school called Aivancity, and we will talk later about that, he said to me, well, you can bring a lot to the school thanks to your international experience. I said, yeah, but what will be my impact? I don't know anything about AI and education. He said, yeah, but I mean, you have this international experience that we all need, because part of the DNA of the school is diversity. We have more than 80 nationalities in our campus today. And it's very important to bring more and more students in our campus, because that's what the strengths come from. And I said, what about artificial intelligence? My main concern is what would be the place of human being in the future? What will be the impact of this new technology on the evolution of the society? And he told me, you are raising a very crucial point, Laurent. Today, the most important point is not the technological side of AI, but it's the societal side and the ethical side of AI. And that's why I've decided to join that project that we will talk about a little bit later.
Got it. Great. So lovely to know about your school and yourself. One of my biggest questions is, how easy is it for a student in India who's not essentially from an engineering or software science background to move into AI and machine learning as a full-time study? And does your school actually allow that?
This is exactly the point. We today, and that's what we see in the market, today we have lots of great data scientists throughout the world, very good experts, very good scientists. But the problem, and that's all our partners company are telling us, that can be either startup or big groups, is that those data scientists, they are very good in building algorithms, but they are not very good in understanding the reason why. Working with the business units, working with the marketing team, working with the supply chain team, working also with the legal team. And today, the problem is because of the education of AI. It's only taught through the angle of technology. And we believe that it should be taught through the angle of technology, obviously, but also business and ethics. At Aivancity, business and ethics represent 50% of what we teach. And to reply very directly to your question, Pranit, we look for students who have a very specific profile. They don't have to be scientists. They have to be very, very open-minded. Because in our programs, of course, we have mathematics, machine learning, programming, statistics, But we also have philosophy, we also have law, we also have project management, we also have marketing and finance. So we need to find profiles that are a very wide open mind and are able to go from one thing to another. And those kind of profiles are not that obvious.
Got that. So we're clear on one thing, that anyone across industries can actually study or pursue a career in AI or engineering or machine learning, and that's open. So the field of
I will give you a very practical example.
Sure.
We have several programs at Aivancity. One of our program is the 3+2 that leads to a Master of Science, AI and data science for business. And we have recruited last year one student with a Bachelor of Philosophy and one student with a Bachelor of Geography that has joined the year 3 of this 5 years program. And they happen to be the best student in class. Why? Because they were bringing something new to the class. They were having this openness that only good scientists and math students couldn't bring.
Got that. This brings me to the next question. How exactly do you see the French economy fitting in or trying to adapt to this newer talent? So, for example, if someone comes to Avon City and does a data engineering MS or an AI engineering MS, which industries do you think are the most prominent in France that can actually hire them? And on the other end, which industries are riding this wave of AI and chat GPT and machine learning and metaverse? I know fashion to be one. So do you see your students, or do you see general tech students going into fashion, building for something for them? What other industries do you see them going into? And what is that? What is the market landscape like? What is the appetite right now in France?
Well, you have mentioned ChatGPT, which is for the world a big flashlight on what is AI. But I can tell you, ChatGPT is only one very little part of what AI will bring us in the next 5 to 6 years. AI will be everywhere. It will be in marketing. And if you open your smartphone, everything which is inside is managed by AI. You go on Google search, you have the information thanks to AI. You go to Netflix, you will have proposal thanks to AI. If you go to YouTube, it will be the same. So basically, without knowing that, when you say, Alexa, please, etc., the replies come from AI. So we have many, many different fields of application of AI, and it will be, of course, everybody's have heard about autonomous vehicles. In terms of technology, it's almost set. Cars can run on their own, but the problem and the issue is more about ethical and legal side that have still not been solved. So that's why we consider that technology is not the ending story of an AI project. So AI will be everywhere. It's very strong in the banking system, it's very strong in the cyber security system, is very strong in the marketing. It will be stronger and stronger in the human resources business. We see it a lot in the distribution and retail system. I mean, you have to know that anything which is repetitive without value added will be replaced by AI.
Got it. So a very similar thing happened when we invented the rail engine and we stopped running on coal. And so while everyone thought that jobs are over and that there's actually no need for someone to put coal or run a rail engine traditionally, but when locomotives stopped, what also happened is a lot of new jobs, were actually created. So with AI, with GPT, with machine learning, as we progress, like you said, anything repetitive and anything that doesn't add more value to what is the substantial value already. Which new jobs do you see being created?
Well, today,
yeah, go ahead.
You're mentioning a very good point, because today, when we talk about this field of data science and artificial intelligence, everybody think about a data scientist. But the reality is that data scientist is not the only job that exists today. So the first step, and we're in the middle of it, is to make a clear distinction, and we have been talking together on that, is to make a clear distinction between the different jobs that exist into the data chain. A data architect is not the same as a data engineer, which is not the same as a data analyst, which is not the same as a data scientist, which is not the same as a machine learning engineer, etc. So it means that at first, we need to train students for those specific jobs. And today, there are maybe about 1/4 of what the industry today needs in terms of experts of AI and data. And it's the same in France, it's the same in India, it's the same everywhere throughout the world. So, and we know that there will be new jobs coming every day. Now, thanks to ChatGPT, there's a new job that has emerged, is how to ask you question the most wisely to ChatGPT to have the best answer. It has become a job. So this is more or less a joke, but it's just an example that we are learning how to walk while walking. And we know that there will be jobs that will be canceled, that will be jobs with low value added, but there will be lots of new jobs arising, even on jobs that today don't exist. And you know, one thing that we teach to our students when they join Aivancity is that we are going to train them to first learn, second, unlearn, and third, relearn. Because on the AI industry, we know that a student that is joining our year 1 of our 5 years Grande École program, what he will learn in year 1 will be obsolete in year 5. So when he will go on the market, he will have to reconsider what he has learned the first year of his education in order to be up to date when he join the market.
Got it. This brings me to a very interesting point in our dialogue. What is essentially the technology that powers ChatGPT? Is it AI? Is it machine learning? Is it a combination of both, because it's repetitively also learning what humans asking it, feeding it, more information is not only being fed, but also being extracted out of what's happening. But what actually is powering such an engine?
Well, in AI, you have different kind of algorithm process. You have the most known, so you have AI. A little bit under that, you will have machine learning, and under that, it will be a subdivision of the machine learning, which will be the deep learning.
Deep learning, correct.
The more you go down, I would say, the more you play with data.
Okay.
And it's a good occasion to talk about data. Because data is the fuel of artificial intelligence. And why have we been able now, why AI is getting so powerful while machine learning, deep learning is getting more powerful, is because we have so many data, and it will continue to rise. Now we're talking about big data, which was not the case 10 years ago. So now we have enough data. Second thing that help us to manage this AI concept is the computing power of computers. Now computers can calculate more faster and faster, and they can continue to do things that were not possible 10 years back. And the last thing is the storage capacity that we have in those big data centers. Everybody's have heard about those big data centers that they are everywhere throughout the world. So the reason why AI is becoming so strong today is because of, first, the development of the big data, second, the computing power of the computers, and third, the big storage capacity of the data centers. And that's why AI today can be a reality, which was not the case 10 years back.
Got it. So what I essentially learned from this answer is that both data science, AI, machine learning are not only the center of what we're going to, sort of build and create technologies but also some of the most useful fuel that are going to power what future enterprises may look like.
And on that, it's also important now that our young generation understand and feel that we need to be more specialized in everything. When I was talking about data architect, today, this is what the industry needs the most, is to, a data architect is an expert in data that builds the house in order to storage the most accurately the data. And this kind of profile, very expert in data, will not be the one who will develop the algorithm, who will develop the machine learning algorithm. So it's important for this generation that wants to work in this data science and artificial industry and artificial intelligence industry, is to understand that we can do everything. We have to be specialized in either being a great data architect that will store the data, a data engineer that will clean the data, a data analyst that will analyze and show the data in order to make the right decision, the data scientist who will make any kind of algorithm that can be machine learning or not, and experts in machine learning and deep learning. So yes, all what you have been talking about, Praneeth, are there, but not all of these are necessary. And especially for big companies that want to develop, they definitely need the experts in the data architect field, data engineer field, etc.
Got that. Having said that, I just want to take a brief moment, let all of our learners and attendees here know that together with this school called Aivancity School of Technology, Business and Society and upGrad, we've designed a program through Triple ITB Bangalore, which is India's #1 private tech school, which you do the first 8 months of data science advanced certificate and move or progress into the French MSc AI engineering or MSc data engineering. Both data engineering and AI are, like Laurent has been mentioning, two of the most indispensable skill set that you need to move forward and progress into where we're heading as mankind. But also, I think the other part is every industry kind of needs it. And that brings me to the next one. Because these students are going to be looking at France or going to be looking at Germany or the US or elsewhere, if they're looking at France, what's extra for them in terms of what industries are riding the wave of Metaverse? What industries are going through a transformation by a deeper immersion of blockchain? What industries are using data more intensively or investing heavily in AI and machine learning experts to ensure that they're taking a very personalized approach to how they serve every consumer using things that they learn over time, things that us as consumers feed them through machine learning. What are some of those key domains, and where do you see those students coming from in India?
Well, first of all, why France? Why France plus India? Why Aivancity plus upGrad? maybe you don't know, but France train some of the best engineers in the world. In our specific field, one of the key names, who's head of artificial intelligence of the Meta group, is French, and is called Yann Lequin, and he's like a big name in this industry. And there's lots of French that have been trained in France and went to the Silicon Valley in order to make a lot of money, but they come from France because France has always been a country of technology. Second thing that maybe you don't know too much as Indian students is that the links between France and India are very, very tight, very strong. And we have lots of things that have been put in place the past 5 years in order to strengthen this exchange of, in particular, of students. The first one in April 19, there have been India-France MOU on mutual recognition of academic qualifications, which means that any students that will, any Indian students that will come to France or any French student that will go to India will have their diploma degrees recognized by the other country. The second thing is that in October 21, there has been a partnership agreement on migration and mobility, means especially in the cooperation of students of education and research, where students can come to study in France on one side and stay after the degree in France 1 + 1 year with a temporary resident permit without applying for a specific visa. So it means that France and India want this exchange of students of education because we, from France, we really acknowledge the fact that Indian students are really great. You are very hard worker, you are very, very good in technology, you really get into the details of things, and that's why we at Aivancity want to build structural projects in India. And that's why, to finish with, we have decided to build this project with upGrad and Triple ITB in order to build a specific program based on the first year spent at upGrad plus Triple ITB in order to grant 2 different master degrees. One is a Master of Science, Artificial Intelligence Engineering, and second in Master of Science, Data Engineering. And as we said, this leads to 2 different but crucial jobs in the future.
Got it. I think that did give all of us an insight into how the French market landscape. But I mean, my personal belief is not only engineering, which includes. So if you are on this call and you're attending and hearing us out, if you're a mechanical engineer, if you're a civil engineer, if you're electronics or electrical engineer, or if you're a software engineer, AI and both AI and DE are courses that are worth pursuing more so. I think the artificial engineering courses for you. The data engineering course more or less would involve and maybe a little more attracted to computer science. But my opinion is that AI as an industry, as a discipline of study, is universally, ubiquitously applicable across industries. Metaverse, in fact, is a combo of augmented reality, virtual reality, AI, machine learning, and how do brands interact in a virtual space. What Metaverse also has is a lot of cybersecurity, and that has a computer science foundation to it. With the upGrad partnership, the Triple ITB Bangalore course sets a good foundational layer of 1 year of data science, data engineering, natural language processing, deep learning. So deep learning is actually the most microscopic form of AI, which is mapping how your brains or how
Exactly.
your network reacts to things. How would a human being through his or her own nervous system and neurons react to something. That's deep learning. So you learn that. You learn advanced machine learning. You learn all kinds of tools like MongoDS and whatnot, and Hive and Hadoop. And so with all of these, you move to France. Now, one breakthrough information is that you do all of this, you do a 2-year master's from France in under 14 lakh rupees, 14 lakhs. Through these 2 years, 1 year is in India through the executive postgrad program in Triple ITB in data science. That data science program is 12 months long. It gets you one postgrad diploma from Triple IT Bangalore. After that certificate, you move into the data engineering or AI engineering MSc. You graduate with a 2-year post-study work visa in France. And through this 1 year, you're also working part-time. Now, one of the questions that I have for you is the role of data and AI into powering a technology like Metaverse. Having known France and the kind of robust engineering industrial hold it has over the world, plus the fashion industry and the retail industry, how does Metaverse play a huge role in that? And what is the technology powering Metaverse? And do you teach that at Avon-City?
Well, my view and our view at Aivancity, in a way, is like Metaverse is like the body of a car when AI is the engine of the car. So, of course, there will be big evolution in order to have the nicest car, and it will have a good evolution. But the power of the Metaverse will depend on the engine itself and all the tools and the layers that will be put in place thanks to this AI and machine learning of deep learning system in order to have the most personalized experience. Because when you go to the Metaverse system, you're talking about the personal experience that you will face. And you can have the more personalized experience thanks to the best AI algorithm that have been put in place, thanks to the most accurate data that have been collected before and during the process. And all of this will depend on the accuracy of the model that will be put in the system in the Metaverse system, and not the opposite.
I am with you 100%. I think the more accurate the information about each consumer user is, the more personalized we can make the journey, the more conversational readiness we can build into a consumer, citing or redirecting them to the next actionable steps at each point in his customer journey. And I think retail industry thrives on it. It thrives on the fact that what you feed at each step, and how many times do you actually meet the consumer where he or she wants to be met, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on the website, whether it's on your app. How do you keep that consistency, homogeneity in the kind of experience? I think, like you said, if you've got the right and accurate data points, that's what helps you design the kind of accuracy in technology. And so you're saying, if these students do a data engineering course, not only are they going to be unlocking their own specific job roles like architect, analyst, engineer, so on and so forth, but also across industries as someone who can...
Definitely. You know, two things I wanted to say, just to jump on what you said. The first thing, we talk about data. Not so long ago, we were talking about big data. And industries, and the industry I'm coming from, have been doing that for years, is collecting data. Whatever data, collecting data from too many different sides. And now we have a huge quantity of data but the problem is that we can only exploit less than 10% of this data because it's not uniform, it hasn't been collected in the same ways. So it's almost impossible to manage this data. Second thing is data for what? And that's one of the problems that we have faced recently, and that our partners company are telling us, is that the problem is that the first move and reflex of all the data scientists that are working on AI models is working on building algorithms. And this is not our view. We prefer to talk about smart data rather than big data. It means that any people involved in this data chain should think about what data do I need for doing what. And we have research projects at Aivancity, and one of our doctor working on this project has been working more than 1 year, 1.5 years on a 3.5-year project just on this question. What data do I need? Where do I put all the captors? How often do I collect the data? And it's very, very important before working on algorithm because as you said, everything depends on the quality of the data. If you have bad data, your models will have bad results. And so first, the quality of the data, but also the quality of the data you want it to tell us. So which question are you asking to yourself in order to use the data to reply those questions? And this can only be done if all the company is involved, if business units work in very close partnership with the data scientists, if both can understand the other, if the data scientists can understand the reality of the job of the markets, of the business units, if they have the capacity to understand the regulation on it, because thanks God, not everything will be possible to do with AI. I don't know if you have heard, but Italy has decided to block ChatGPT because they were considering that all the legal aspects were not okay. And we 100% agree with this. That's why we believe that all the ethical side has to be put at front of any subject when it talks to AI and data, because what is feasible first for the good of the society, for the humanity itself, in terms of regulation, what regulation exists and what doesn't exist but will exist in the future, and how can we be able to open that black box anytime in order to explain, having explainability of the AI, robustness of AI, fairness of AI. So these are all the things which are very important when talking about data.
I really like something about that answer. I think I just want all of these attendees and learners who have joined us to know that what Laurent is essentially trying to tell us is that part of the job role in the future in any industry is just to engineer and calibrate the role of data in how we maximize the efficiency of what we do as a business or what we do as an industry. Whether it's healthcare and this new division called bioinformatics, whether it's legal in this new division called legal tech, where you're using technologies like ChatGPT to resolve mundane and routine legal queries and legal battles, whether it's the role of technology in ensuring that the disbursement of legal issues is made in a much more faster manner. When it's fintech or when it's finance, the role of blockchain in ensuring how secure your transactions are, how much data can be extracted from transactional habits of consumers, and what can be bettered or what can be made much more refined. So legal, healthcare, finance, manufacturing, supply chain, retail, logistics, there's a heavy role of data and AI in almost anything. So the point is, at this time of history, I think the role of AI, machine learning, DS is more crucial and inevitably present than it has ever been back in time. So my urge is that almost any person who wants to be future-proof, who wants to have a very future-ready skill set, must pursue a course now more than ever, because we understand the need of data now. It's fueling every single business. And not all all of such job roles need you to program. Some of them just need you to strategize. Some of them just need you to use a tool like Tableau or Power BI or SQL to manage and store data, or to extrapolate insights from it and make a more informed decision.
Just to jump on what you just said, Pranit, sorry to interrupt you, but we know today, of course, to build any AI model, you need to do some programming, and today the language is Python. We know that in 5 years or in few years, everything will be no code or low code. Does it mean that we don't have to teach our students the programming? No, it just means that we need, and that's unfortunately what many schools are doing. They are teaching their students how to do program. This is not what we believe. What we believe is that we have to teach them the logic of it. Of course, they have to know how to do some programming, because today it's crucial to do any kind of model, but tomorrow it will not be necessary, but at least they will understand how it's built. They will have been inside the motor and therefore the engine, and therefore they will have the best way of thinking in order to build their model, regardless of the programming side of it.
Got it. Yeah, I think so the World Economic Forum has a report called the Future of Jobs Report. They normally try to come up with it every 2 or 3 years. I think one of the biggest insights and breakthrough that it had was that more than any time in history, now more than ever, programming skills are indispensable. And it's not about being the ability to code. It's the ability to solve complex problems and then translate into a code, that if this were to happen, what could solve this? If you were to build an AI that would respond on behalf of a human being, and scenario A, B, C, D, E, F, G happen, what would the machine want to do? So it's essentially replicating or trying to mirror the human mind and translate it into a code. So sometimes I talk to students and I say, you know what, with an MSDS course or an MSAI course, you don't always have to choose the programming or behind the screen side of it, but the side of it that strategizes, that orchestrates what you do with the code. So like you're mentioning, I think it's worthwhile to note that there's a huge variety of jobs that they can take. But I just wanted to understand from you, what is a good first step? From upGrad standpoint, it is that you guys now have an option to study in France with Avon City School of Technology. You, as long as you're 35 years of age and under, you can have gap in the last time you did a degree, although we would appreciate that gap did not go above 10 years, 10 or 12 years. But the fact that you're still very, very immersively involved in the domain, as long as there's no career gap, academic gap is still okay. I've been told by the school that beyond 35 years is not what we're allowed to do. There's no need of IELTS. IELTS is a waiver. The fee of the combined program is 4 lakh rupees in India for 1 year and 12,500 euros in Europe, in France. That's 10 lakh rupees of tuition. So essentially, you're doing this in 14 lakh rupees. The living cost for 1 year, I'll let uh, Laurent answer that. But you can work part time for 20 hours a week during academics, 40 hours a week during break. Like in Canada or the US, you don't need a WES or a WEST report. Your credentials get accepted 1-to-1, 1:1. So whatever you've done, how many ever credits you've done in India are accepted equivalent to the French system. We need a 3-year degree. You don't necessarily need a 4-year degree. You don't necessarily need an engineering degree, as long as you're going through the EPGP or the post-grad program route to Triple IT. I'll pass the baton to Laurent, who will tell you more about the requirements of this course and how is a year placed. So how many times in a year can you enter, whether you can enter in January or September, and how does the academic term spread look like?
Okay, so we have really worked in details with Praneeth and his team in order to build the programs that will be totally in line with what we propose in France, and having this after this first year in India with Triple ITB plus upgrade, and having this second year in France. So we have really built the program specifically for upgrade students in order to, at the end of the second year, the students will have exactly the same levels as our students going out from our regular program. That's the first thing. Second thing, the cost of living in France, roughly it's about between 300 to 600 euros for accommodation, and about 600 euros for living in France, having in mind that we are in Paris. We are like 10 minutes from downtown Paris by metro. So that gives you an idea. So you also have the pleasure to live in one of the most beautiful city in the world, but not in the very center, which make things not as crowded and expensive as well. What else can I say regarding that? The program is heavy because it's not like joining a business school in France, you know, where you have a lot of time for partying and things like that. When you will follow the courses with upGrad first and Aivancity second, you will work a lot, because we are very, very tough in terms of expectation for your level, because you are going to enter into an industry which is very exigent. There is a very big demand. There is many needs in France, obviously. To give you an example, our fifth-year students that were looking for dual work studies, they had between 3 to 5 different offers from companies because the profile that we propose are very unique. So either you want to stay in France or work in France, you will have no problem to find job. Either you want to go back to India, and we know, and we are working on with upGrad, but many other university, there's a big demands on this kind of profile of data scientists with this profile business plus ethics. So you will have the choice whether you want to work in France or go back to India or any other country in the world. You don't need to speak French because all the courses will be 100% in English. You have to know that 50% of our teachers are international, 75% are PhDs, and 50% already work in companies. So they are like executive in the AI data world. Any other things I could add?
No, absolutely. One of the biggest things that I think learners value a lot is that there is no language test required. You don't have to demonstrate your ability to speak the language. You don't need IELTS or Duolingo. The medium of instruction is very much going to be English. your fee structure in France is going to be 12,500, but so with 600 euros as a living cost in Paris, you're going to be looking at a living cost of about 7,200 euros. Yes?
60 plus 3 to 60 for accommodation, 300 to 600 for accommodation, plus 600 for daily cost.
Got it. So this is about 10 to 12K euros. So essentially, your tuition is going to be under 15 lakhs. Your living expenses are going to be around 10 lakhs. But the point is, because they allow part-time work, we can go back to Laurent and ask what kind of part-time work is in place. Meanwhile, we've got another 9 minutes for you to ask us any questions, and also feel free to put forward your questions. We've already got a question from Dhruv and Amar. Will educational metaverse be successful in future? Please give me an answer, and how to build a career in metaverse. I will take that as soon as I can, but I just wanted everybody else to know that now is a good time for you to ask us any questions. But Laurent, what is the academic standing you need for students? How much percentage in bachelors, and which bachelors are accepted?
Well, first of all, we need to have bachelors mostly in science, statistics, etc. We know, we have scanned the first year of Triple ITB plus upgrade, and so we know that with this education, if they have the appropriate grade, they can join our program after that. There will be an interview. Interview is very important for us because as a jury interview, because as said, students, we want students who have the capacity to go from programming to mathematics to philosophy to law to marketing, etc. So we want to make sure that the students that will come to France will have this most appropriate profile. So that's what I wanted to say regarding the selection. Yeah, but before joining upgrade, the upgrade program, they have to have a bachelor degree, and then after these 2 years in India plus France, they will finish with an official Master of Science degree.
Absolutely. I don't think we'll have any more questions. Nikhila says if it's an accelerated course, then it comes under part-time course. No, I will just get that reconfirmed. This is not an accelerated course. This is a 1+1 course. And anyway, a lot of students who have 240 ECTS of degree can actually qualify for that course. It's just that for those who don't and who don't have a background in a tech field, or so to say computer science or DS intensive field, this is a great course. But I can still go back to Laurent and ask that, is this going to be considered a part-time course? Are the degrees going to be different, or is this the same degree, same full-time course as any other regular student?
Yes. And most of and that's why you were mentioning the question of intakes. Most of the students who will join the dedicated programs built for upgrade, they will join our regular courses. We have to add some courses that doesn't exist, in particular in ethics and business. But the idea is really to integrate all the Indian students to our regular students. So that's why we have 2 different intakes that corresponds to our regular intake for our MSc Artificial Intelligence on one side, which intake is September. So next intake is September 23. And the second one is MSc Data Engineer, which intake is January 24. So because those students will join the students of our existing cohort of MSc Data Engineer and MSc Data Intelligence, Artificial Intelligence.
Thanks. Nikhila, I hope we've answered your question. For master's degree, there will be an OPT. Yes, there will be a post-study work visa for 2 years, Nikhila, and this is going to be the time for you to find a job and stay on a job until you get a blue card. If you get a blue card, then it's easier to get a PR. If not, then I can go back to Laurent and ask what happens after those 2 years. So on the second part, one of the students is asking Laurent, do you get a paid internship? Or do you get an internship in the course?
No, not in these programs. There is none, there will not be internship.
So they do a quick 1 year course and then they enter the job market. Yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Got it. So there's a student who's asking, what is the actual path of becoming a metaverse developer?
Well, we have decided at Aivancity not to be into the metaverse industry. We will be in the we will be. Hello?
Yes, I think we lost you.
Yeah, I lost myself.
No problem.
Sorry. Yeah, we train students in the field of AI and data. We don't go into cybersecurity, blockchain, nor a metaverse, because we consider that the engine is AI, and that's what we believe in. And we really want to concentrate on everything which is related to AI and IoT and data.
Got that. We've got another question. Yes, so one of the things that I wanted to actually ask you was, what happens after you get the 2-year post-study work visa in France? What happens next?
So after you graduate, you have the choice either to find a job in France or to go back to India. As said, there is a convention between France and India where you can ask for a temporary permit for 1 + 1 year, which in reality, I don't know why for, because it will be so obvious to find a job either in France or in India. So it will be just your choice whether you want to work in France or whether you want to work in India. I really see it as simple as that.
Got it. We've got another question, Laurent. How to become a blockchain developer? What is the actual path? Amar, here's what you can do. Drop me your email address on the chat box. I'll get a call arranged and set up through one of my counselors. And they are experts on making sure that you know what's the clear-cut path of becoming a blockchain developer and what are the skills you need, which are some of the top courses in blockchain. And we will get that. Just drop me your email address on the chat box. We've got everything. So one of the final question for you, Laurent, is they're asking, in Avon City, will there be an internship training? Well, he said this. It's a quick course for 1 year, and as soon as you graduate out of that 1 year, you immediately move into the industry.
No, so what I can say, because the program is too dense to have space for internship. Nevertheless, we have something at Aivancity that we call the AI Clinic, where every student spends between 6 to 9 hours per week. It's a place where students work in groups, 3-4 students, followed by teachers on real projects proposed by real companies. It's not like use case that you use year after years and that are good on the paper. It's companies that come, okay, I have this problem. I want to launch this chatbot. I want to find this NLP model, and our student will work on it as if it was real project. So we have two kind of companies, either companies that have low expertise but some data and they need us to build that, or on the contrary, we have very high, very experts companies that don't have the time to manage such subject. and they come to our school and our students to work on this. So in that case, it can be considered as internship because it's real life, it's real projects. They are faced with the reality of what the company we will see in the data, how clean they are, how to organize them, how to build a model, how to see that it's not working at the beginning and that you need to readjust that, etc. So in a way, we have this AI clinic that will replace the internship.
Got that. I think we're pretty clear on it. We've answered the question. Pavan is asking, I'm an AI ML BE student. What are the courses that need to be done as an AI ML engineer? Pavan, we suggest you do the MSc AI engineering course, and that makes the most amount of sense for you at this point. After this call, I'm going to send you so just drop me an email ID. I will send you the exact course, or I will wait for Laurent to send you a URL of the AI engineering course. We are anyway going to go live this week. Our website will feature Aivancity, and we will have all the courses and the necessary coursework that's there. And hopefully, I think, like he was mentioning, the industries are going to be engineering, fashion, retail, logistics.
Even law, even health, even everything. You have to know that it will be in absolutely every industry in the future. And that's one of the things also that we would evoke is the specialty per industry of AI.
Got that. For everyone, who's asking about blockchain, so we've got a course on blockchain, but also I think we've got specific counselors who can coach you, advise you on NFTs and blockchain, metaverse, and the kind of pathway that you will have to pursue that. We ask in India about blockchain developers. I think blockchain is a very, very, very sought after technology in Germany, France, the United States, Malaysia, Singapore. And so essentially it's something that the world will look towards, the world will increasingly need. I don't think how much identification or how much perceptibility in India it has anything to do with how it's perceived abroad. But I think having lived in the United States, having worked with German schools, they actually look towards blockchain a lot. We've got small countries like Cyprus that look at blockchain. And in fact, Cyprus has the #1 school in blockchain. It's called the University of Nicosia. It's world's #1 school in blockchain. We've got that course with us. If you want to build or make a career in blockchain, I think if you're from a non-tech background, start with the MSc Data Engineering from the Avon City School of Technology, so that you have your basics all set. And then finally, blockchain is more or less applied engineering. It's not absolute engineering, it's applied engineering, it's applied sciences. And all of you can do blockchain, cybersecurity, NFT studies, metaverse, all of that. And then of course, augmented and virtual reality. All of that is a very multidisciplinary line of study. So, but just drop us your email addresses and we will get our counselors to call you, and should be done. Is there any other question? There's no IELTS required. The tuition fee is going to be under 14 lakhs. The batches start this month. 30th of April is the first batch. You do 1 year in India, you immediately move. You can move to France in January or September. And the school is in Paris, so makes more sense for you to study at the heart of France. Thank you so much for being here, Amon and Laurent. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, Pranit, for this invitation.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you, everybody. If you guys got any questions, I am putting down my email address. It's praneet.singh@upgrad.com. I would request my colleague Arushi to put down a quick message of how do you navigate our website. Arushi, can you paste that note? While she does that, there's a very important, interesting question will it be a good combination of data science and blockchain? Which you've answered. You said that at the end of the day, DS is the center of what blockchain and any technology of that kind is based on. But I still want you to answer that.
Well, I'm going to say again what we've been for us at Aivancity. We consider that AI is the heart of everything, and data is the blood of it. So that's why we really concentrate on the heart and the blood, which is artificial intelligence and data. There are so many other topics completely linked as metaverse, as blockchain, but everything at the end, you will come into the center with AI and data. So yeah, my suggestion would really be, if you want to have the basis of everything, learning the data is the first one. The second would be learning the artificial intelligence, and then you will be the king or the queen in this new world coming.
Thank you for answering that, Laurent. It has been an absolute pleasure hosting you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.